took every single dollar from Elon Musk, from Jeff Bezos, and put them at zero, they would be back to billionaire status in 5 years because they understand the game. And this is one of the reasons why Alex Hormozi always talks about you should spend your money learning skills, because once you learn the skills, they're always there. There's no replacement for those. Now that I have the skills, now that I know what to avoid, now that I know what leverage looks like and what not to do, I could do this again in my sleep. Now, I would do things very differently, but I would now be able to cut all the bullshit and go right for the money. As I was preparing what I wanted to talk about, I kind of put myself in this headspace like, no. Really, Nick, imagine you were in that position. Zero. You had nothing. Where would you start? What would you do? What would you cut out? What would you add? Who would you talk to? All of those things. I'm going to talk about those things. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be very, very relevant for everyone that hasn't started. And those of you that maybe have bought another program or you've kind of started dabbling, but you haven't made money. And for those of you that have already made money, I promise there's going to be some nuggets in here, because guess what, guys? I had made money, a little bit of money in 2019 doing this model, but 2020 is where I really turned it on. And that's when we went from, it's kind of this hobby to, hey, we're making millions of dollars. We're paying off credit card debt. We're buying real estate. We're putting in the pool, all of that kind of stuff. So guys, first and foremost, for those that are brand new, that stumbled across this channel, that saw this guy that screams, that wears a Versace robe and looks like an absolute douche and is very proud of it. Let's just really quickly define for the one person out there, what are we talking about when we say rank and rent digital real estate business? That is the business of building simple websites that produce leads and you rent them out to local businesses. That's it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my channel, look at some of my recent videos. I gave examples. I just want to make sure we're on the same page when we say rank and rent digital real estate business. So guys, I've just got a list of things of exactly the order I would do this in if I was going to start today. So let's go. Let's just create this scenario. So let's say I have a 9-to-5 job. Maybe I'm in debt, maybe I'm not, but I'm just barely paying the bills. I don't have thousands and thousands of dollars in the bank. Yes, I have a credit card. I have access to a couple $100, but I don't have, money just spilling out my ears. So here's what I would do. And remember, this is coming from somebody that has done this, and that has done this from a negative $60,000 position just a few short years ago. What you need to do is you need to be very, very clear, and you need to decide, are you going to do the rank and rent model, or are you going to do the rent then rank? And I know some of you guys are going, oh, you're splitting hairs. Hell no, I'm not splitting hairs. These aren't even the same thing. They're not in the same league. They're not even comparable. One of them, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, is the old school way. It's the way that I learned. It's the way that was only way that was taught 6 years ago. And that is pick a niche, pick a city, build a website, spend your money, do your SEO, wait 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 months, depending on how good your research was in the beginning, and now go and try and sell it. And yeah, you're probably not going to be able to sell it for a flat fee because your leads are going to be inconsistent. So try to get, a commission deal and then convert. Just the shittiest advice on the planet. That's the rank and rent. That's the old school. That's the wheelchair method. You can take that path. Some of you guys have already taken steps down that path because you didn't know any better, and that's okay. But what you need to understand is these are two very, very different business models. And depending on which way you go is going to depend on your next steps, and is going to depend on how much cash you need, and is going to depend on how quickly you're going to make money. And so you need to understand these are two different things. And of all the people that are out there teaching it, everyone else is teaching the rank and rent model. I am teaching the rent then rank model. And then what's interesting is now I've started to hear in the past few months, as people have gotten on and have had interest in buying our course, is I've had people say, yeah, I talked to so-and-so, and they said that they also teach the ads. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Who is it? And they tell me the name. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. They've been out of the game for 5 years. Oh, that's interesting. They don't make any money doing the business model. They make all their money selling how to do the business model. So guys, be very, very careful. So you have to decide if you're going to do the rank and rent style, can it work? Yes. Is it the way to do it? In my opinion, I think that you're crazy to do it. And all the people that are teaching it not because they want to teach it. They're teaching it because they don't know how to do it rent then rank, because they're not in the game, baby. And if they are in the game, they don't know how to run ads. They haven't spent $1.33 million on ads. They don't have that education that only comes from doing. So you got to decide, are you going to do rank and rent? You're going to do rent then rank. If you want to do rank and rent, this is the wrong channel. I'm not going to be talking about slow method, 4 to 6 to 8 months, 9 months, 12 months, sometimes 18 months to get a site ranked. I will not be talking. So if that is the case, this is not your channel, and I'm not your guy, and that's okay. And there are people that have been successful doing it the other way. But what I'm telling you is I could not get it to go. I could could not get that momentum because it just didn't make sense. I didn't have the ability to build 100 websites and see which ones work and pay for the hosting and pay for the tracking numbers and to just figure out, okay, well, these 20 work. I didn't have that kind of money. I didn't have that kind of time. I didn't have that kind of patience. I needed it to work today.